I'm Kate Baldwin.
And this
is CNN.
The Obama White House once again reeling from a self-inflicted wound. The latest embarrassment comes on the heels of the bungled Obamacare website. A national security official is out of work for Twitter attacks on Republicans and even his fellow Obama insiders. Jofi Joseph is booted from his job as a director for the National Security Council. He tweeted his insults under an alias, including this shot at President Obama's senior advisor and trusted friend. Quote, I'm a fan of Obama, but his continuing reliance and dependence upon a vacuous cipher like Valerie Jarrett concerns me. End quote. Ouch. CNN political contributor Will Kane joins us from New York, and here in Atlanta, HLN contributor and Hiram College professor Jason Johnson. Welcome to both of you.
Morning.
Good morning.
Like, my biggest problem with this is why it took them 2 years to figure out who was the anonymous tweeter, Jason.
Yeah, that disturbs me. It's like we found Osama faster. This guy is in the building tweeting. He has to be on his phone. But really, firing him over this, we had to see more of the tweets. And I think when you see the tweets, it's kind of inappropriate. Some of it can be perceived as sexual harassment, so I can understand him being fired. But the Obama administration is very thin-skinned, and they have a very bad reputation with going after whistleblowers.
Okay, you want to hear more tweets? Well, I'm going to read more tweets for you, too. Okay, here's another one. So when will someone do us the favor of getting rid of Sarah Palin and the rest of her white trash family? What utter useless garbage. And another anonymous tweet from this guy. Was Huma Abedin wearing beer goggles the night she met Anthony Weiner? These are really inappropriate, Will.
Yeah, I mean, I actually like your point about the fact it took them 2 years to find this guy. I guess that should make us feel better about the whole NSA scandal. Maybe it's not quite as pervasive and insightful as we thought it was. Look, I disagree with Jason. From the texts, from the tweets we've seen here, the guy deserves to be fired. It's not about, when you see scandals like this, or when you see issues like this come up, people often invoke censorship in the First Amendment. That has nothing to do with your relationship with your employer. If you say things that embarrass your employer, prepare to be fired. This guy deserves to go. There is a larger story, which Jason began to touch on there, and that is the Obama administration's thin-skinned, we could call it, or he mentioned the record prosecution of leaks. There's a consistency in the Obama administration of going after people who embarrass the administration, but not those that take shots or cover for the administration.
And Will really does have a point, because I felt it firsthand when I was, reporting on the presidential race. I mean, President Obama's people can be quite nasty. They don't like you to say anything bad about their boss, and they're not afraid to use what other means they have at hand to stop you from doing that, including threatening your job.
Yeah, it's not quite a Valerie Plame link, leak, but this is still really bad. And I think it reflects very poorly on the Obama administration. They claimed they were going to be open-minded. They claimed that they like whistleblowers, and they really, really don't. The issue that I have with this guy, and why, like I said, I think he should be fired, is at a certain point, you cannot say things as part of the administration that are that inappropriate, let alone the fact that he may have been eventually leaking about the inner workings of the National Security Council. So,
that would have been really bad.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't trust where this guy was going to go. So they were right to fire him. I still think they're thin-skinned.
Well, it's interesting. I'm going to read his apology to you, Will. This is his apology. Okay. It's been a privilege to serve in this administration, and I deeply regret violating the trust and confidence placed in me. What started out as an intended parody account of D.C. culture developed over time into a series of inappropriate and mean-spirited comments. I bear complete responsibility for this affair, and I sincerely apologize. But that happens to a lot of us on Twitter, right? It starts out, we're going to be funny, and then it turns really bad. We can't help ourselves.
Right. Welcome to the world of Twitter, where snark and anonymity collide into this wonderful soup of awfulness. To be honest, that's my opinion. But again, the larger issue, if you had a theme to your show today, Carol, at least over the last 15 minutes when I saw your interview with Sheila Jackson-Lee, the theme is accountability, right? We're having a continuing conversation about accountability, and what we'd like to see is a consistency in accountability. Will Kathleen Sebelius be held accountable for her failures? Should she be? And I don't know that she should. But how about Sarah Ingram Hall at the IRS, or Hillary Clinton revolving around Benghazi? We'd like to see consistency when it comes to accountability from the Obama administration.
Well, I just interviewed Congresswoman Jackson Lee, who said Kathleen Sebelius should stay in her job. And I asked her, well, someone should take the blame for what happened. And there was, I just don't understand that.
Yeah, it's really disturbing to see how much the Democrats, and unfortunately I have to say it in this, and the Republicans as well, no one's taking any responsibility, right? The Democrats all want to cling to the Affordable Care Act no matter what kind of idiotic mistakes have been demonstrated in the rollout. And the Republicans are still obsessed with overturning the whole thing rather than fixing it. So it seems like neither side really wants to be responsible about how to actually fix policy for the American people. It's a shame. This is a legitimate instance of a pox on both houses.
If I could just say quickly, Carol, I think there's an overfixation on Kathleen Sebelius right now. I think on her firing. 2 points. First of all, she will not be fired. And that's for 2 reasons. One, because you could not get a replacement through the Senate confirmation process. You probably couldn't find anybody who wants the job, by the way. And second, that line that the Obama administration didn't know about its flaws and Kathleen Sebelius did not make them aware is simply unbelievable. President Obama knows the status of his signature legislation. But finally, she shouldn't be fired. I don't think she should. She's being held to an impossible standard. The problem with Obamacare, here comes my ideology, was the idea, not the execution. Nobody could have pulled this off. Rearranging 1/5 of the American economy with a website ready, set, pop to go, she could never have succeeded.
Wow. I don't know about that. Yeah. I'm more hopeful. Because, we do, well, I'm not going to get into that because you're right. We'll just argue about the same things and we don't want to do that right now. Will Kane, Jason Johnson, thank you both. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Still to come in the newsroom, Amazon wants you to cough up